Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. Good. So let's do our setting of the energy, and then we'll see what we're going to talk about today. I'm just bringing the various nets through everyone, and we'll call out to Lord Gautama to bring his protecting blue flame down around our tube of light for each of us, 4 inches thick, so that nothing but love can enter. And we'll welcome Mother and Father into our heart. And welcome the angels to come and to be here for us, along with the Ascended Masters. And make a special invite to those beings who are of light and on their journey throughout the universe. They're welcome to come and be with us, but you must be studying the light. Thank you. All right. So we'll say our mantra. I am the soul. I am the light divine. I am love. I am will. I am fixed design. Good. Very good. So my question for you all today is, how were you all doing with your messages you received yesterday? Because my wondering is how beneficial they are. Do you work with them then for a few days, or do they make sense to you? And after we have this conversation, if someone writes to me, then we'll do another prayer for Turkey and Syria. It's so sad. The number just keeps getting higher. And we can't even go to asking why. We need to know there's a perfection that everyone who has now have life taken from them, it's purposeful, and they agreed. So sometimes that's not so easy anytime, but especially when it's on such a large scale and just like in an instant. And those sweet little children they're finding, interesting, they're finding small children, and they look up so innocent, like, you can help me. So let me say good morning to everybody. All right, good morning, Chase. It is my service to be here for anyone on their journey. But thank you. And Cavell, good morning. And Carol, good morning. And Barbara Ward. And Marby. And Julie Johnson. Yes. Prime 3, you're early today. Good morning. Who is a person on the photo on your right side, which is hidden by a crystal? Mother Mary? Or Lady Tara? It's hard to get it to. There you are. Mother Mary. And this is Lady Tara, who came into fruition from a tear of Kuan Yin. I may have told you before, Kuan Yin was clearing all the karma, and thought she had accomplished it. And she was on her dragon through the waves of emotion, and she turned back, and karma was roaring right back at her. And she shed a tear, which brought forth Lady Tara, who is to heal the suffering of all people. Yeah. And she's the counterpart to Master Babaji. Very powerful being. But so is Mother Mary. She looks very young and sweet there, doesn't she? This is from the St. Germain Press. You can go on there if you want to get this photo. To me, I don't worship all these people, but they mean so much to me on my journey because they've shown me how a master exists, how they made their journey, and very meaningful. Well, I hope that answers your question, Chase. If not, let me know if I did or didn't get the right. If I look from here, I think that's who it was. Behind that, there's Babaji and Buddha's over on the other side, which I don't think you can see. Okay. So, Mother Mary it was. There you go. Yeah. So Barbara says, I make a note of my messages, then I review them, and through a process of self-inquiry, I try to make the connections. Often they make sense much later and explains things in my life. Wow. It's interesting and good we talk about it because from where I am, it's an exercise to participate in to achieve a higher consciousness. So I'll give that to you for you to contemplate. And maybe each day it's a different one that's in the most importance for you to have that day. But perhaps not. And Kathy Moreno, good morning. And if I did say it to you, Carrie, the world traveler, good morning to you. So any other questions from anyone? Two people I'll mention up here, which you're taught to always have. If you have a Buddha, Lakshmi, she is the one that pours money, gold on your path, and a Ganesha, which protects you, removes all obstacles. So you would have a Buddha. As you'll see, there's one up there, and they are sitting on either side. These were bought for me by my teacher in Thailand. And so they have a great sentimental meaning to me. And that I will always have obstacles cleared, and there'll be always coins upon my path. So they each have a process of individuals who follow each of them. So there's many Buddhas, a lot of crystals that have great power, all which enhance your own, helps to move you through different things. This is my most recent one. My friend in Shasta is starting to eliminate her collection as she's getting older. So before Christmas, this was one she had held on to for a long time. Most of you, I don't know if you know what a lingam is. It's this shape of a stone, but usually the one end is tan and a little bit of dark brown as they roll in the water, and it's created from the Ganges River. Well, this is also a lingam, but what you'll see is there's all kinds of languages on it. And then it also, if you sit this on a light, it shines up through it and you see the language. So she felt this was good to give to me because I'm all about language, the language of light. So we'll see what eventually when it's time, and I know it. But there's all kinds of powerful things in the crystals to have and be participant in your journey. I have my personal stone. She's called Illumination. She was also given to me by that lady, and she's very clear. She is like a peach-colored Lemurian. So when I take this stone, it always brings me into my center. And in that space, we're one. So if anything ever does disturb me in some way, this is who I turn to. There's many others. One of the greatest gifts I've ever got myself was this one. And it spoke to me, but it's taught me how to see so far many things beyond, and how in the healing energy to work with them to unravel them. It has rainbows and it's radiated, but again, it has the blue ray on it. You can tell I like the blue ray. So you want to find them as clear as you can. If you look at the tip of this, it's very clear. Or otherwise, it's mirroring you not being clear. So I have a lot of things here. A turquoise, very powerful stone, very emotional balancing. You know, it depends on what you want a stone for, but the most important one to choose is your personal stone. You can see it just fits right in my hand, and we are at one. So Barbara said, yes, I agree. Lord Ganesha mantra has often helped me in having obstacles removed. Thank you for sharing that, Mother TheoSophia. Yes. I'm trying to see what else I have here. I know I had a tiger eye, and I wear tiger eye. That's like my stone. So, yeah. This stone here is all the laughter and the joy of the little children. Pre-night. I have some that are individual circles that are for individual children. I got some Lemurian crystals, and I got a sphere for my grandson who turned 13. A Lemurian crystal sphere that when you put the light under it, you could see a rainbow goddess in it. How you like that? And that was from her collection too. And he loved it. It shines in his room. So without him knowing it, he's learning about Lemurians and the life there up the western coast of America. And I have cupboards and cupboards of crystals. These are my personal picks. Not that I intended to talk about crystals today. There's something else I need to show you. Way up top, which you can't see, I have a huge image of Buddha that, those of us that were in Thailand doing our meditation to become an initiator, the monks hammered and gave a mantra into each stroke they took on the Buddhas, and we were given them at the end of our journey. So very powerful. And if you ever get to where you understand and know the puja and what that's about, it was a very, very moving experience to receive them from the monks there in Chiang Mai, where we were. Now, the white slab of stone is it's angelic energy, white. And this green one here is for green spirits, the earth spirits. So, and this she has written on here, it's a dome from India. It's an ascension dove. Here's the one side. And here's the other. It looks like a coral. And it, you can feel it physically vibrating. It's very powerful. And it is the same stone as this one. It's SCOLECITE, scoliite. So the two forms it came in, but it's the same stone. You can see the similarity here on the back. Powerful. It's a unique design here, kind of like a burst. Trying to get it where you can see it. There you go. So, and one more thing, and then I'll be done, because I've shown you my ahawite before. But once all the glaciers begin to melt, the planetary hearts revealed themselves. And there's usually one for each side. A rose-colored and a white. And their job is to reveal your destiny to you. So whoever bought them, they were always in pairs. And they're stones, planetary hearts, that will help you be shown your destiny, what you're here about. So mine are always together and always sitting out wherever I'm working. So, anyone else want to mention their messages? And good morning, Kathy Marino. Yes, I know, the happy children. If we could only give that prayer that every child will find the happiness. And yet, as we make that thought, we understand that there are so many children that apparently are needing to go through what they are doing. And we can never change the will of a person. And it reminds me of how there used to be all the commercials of all the little children starving. And one day, one of those little children just popped out at me and said, "That's okay, I'm a master. Please don't be sorry for me. I'm here to teach you what sorrow is really about, and it's within you. Be sad for you." So that was quite an awareness for me to understand the giving up, the surrender that so many masters do give and experience when they've achieved that, wanting their example for you to get from them. Like I'm asking you, what did you get from the many messages you've gotten? Because if not much is the answer, then it's the value and the light and all that was placed in it isn't functionable. So I'm just curious because Douglas asked me if I was going to do messages again today. I said I just did them yesterday. How many messages can there be? You must take action. You must be a participant on the journey. The journey doesn't happen to you. You work together in union. And that's how you begin to work with your hand in God's hand, knowing that you're not alone. But thank you for seeing the beauty in my crystals. To me, they're powerful. They're the light. And I don't know. I usually on my channel don't talk politics. But I have to say one thing today. That since the time when Biden took and stepped into that position after Iowa, I see the pure white light of God through his being come and through his eyes. And once again last night, as he spoke, I could feel my passion inside of me be ignited. And at that last thought, he said, the eyes were stealth in God's light. But again, that's my perception and how I see that through other people at times. So, whatever you want to take from that, like I said, don't usually talk about it. And for that, I feel that's where all his giving is coming from that part of him. So, let's bring about a prayer. For those yet, or those who will never be what we call saved, or lifted out of the rubble, who on the day of the earthquake lost their breath, their spark of life that God gave them. And we want to acknowledge that that's purposeful for whatever reason. And perhaps it's a grouping to have all of us stop for a moment and think about the preciousness of life. In an instant, as I watched them, they just floor after floor after floor down in an instant. And if you think of how we, speaking of the humans who are alive and the spirits on earth, perhaps take life a little bit for granted, a little bit more than we should. And yet as we grow, we know in an instant, as we make that choice to return, in that instance, we are where we need to be. We are not lost and gone forever. We just move dimensionally. But what a huge movement for a large group of people. And maybe it was time, with all it's been through, that they had achieved and released their karma and could be ready. I do not know. I don't know the answers. Mother, always brings me back to there's a perfection in every thought, in every moment, in all that you see. How it may look to you or to me, it might be different. But it's important to begin to embrace yourself and to begin to have a way that you see things. And do you see through your clarity? Do you see through your solar plexus? All changes the perspective of what you put energy on. Julie says it's from a spiritual perspective. The light is on. It is. It's a powerful time to be on your journey and feeling the beauty of the light. And Yes, crystals can be very, very useful in many ways. Whether you're doing healing or whether you're just working with your own field, uh, it's very powerful. In the beginning, I really didn't get what people wanted crystals for. And I fell in love with them in Shasta. And just kind of tell me one little piece, and all right, that's mine. It's, yes. And the angels, I'll show you again, is comes in through Ahawite. Now, the blue here, just on the end, the crystal radiates it, makes it larger. You won't find too many pieces like this anymore. No, this is large. And this is the Ahawite Cathedral because they're very expensive. And I don't know that you even see them little anymore. I have a couple little pieces. And when I saw this, you know, that's mine. I think a friend actually got it for me with that trip. But certainly brought me the great gift of connecting with all the angels. So, yes. So there's a lot of tools that come and go. I have to mention my crystal bowls, which are a combination then of a crystal and the energy of a angelic being with it. So when I play my bowls, it's the angelic being that takes over my hand and plays the sound. But it resonates that crystal. I had a emerald platinum heart tone. It was beautiful, but I could feel it have my heart be alive. I don't know if other people do or not, but it was beautiful. All right, so let's do a prayer here for the people, the humans, the spirits from Turkey. And I keep forgetting that word. Isn't that interesting? And what comes is Sicily, and I know it is not. And I just looked at that this morning to make sure I didn't do that again. For all the souls who've lost their lives, may they find their heaven within God's arms. May they allow their souls willingly to be lifted and go into the room of sleep and rest, to allow themselves to become at peace with what has happened. And as time is ready, then go and sit with their guardians and have an understanding of what yet they did heal or what they yet have to heal, and begin to go to classes and study. You know, the afterlife is a grand school of whatever it is you still need to learn. That is where you will go and you learn and experience. And never think that there is no evolvement and evolution, because there is. Because before you would come back down, you would have had to come to peace with whatever was left undone. And then perhaps chose to go down to learn it again, to prove that you learned. My mother, Syria, thanks Chase. My mother lives in a rose garden, and she tends to the roses with others. My parents were farmers, so I understand her connection to that. But she's very happy. So we'll do this prayer to Syria and Turkey and to those people, that all beings find their way in their evolution to a higher consciousness, to a higher space and time. For our earth is preparing for its own ascension, so that we must take step after step after step, constantly walking towards a higher experience of light, consciousness rising. That's why this channel is TheoSophia rising. We are rising here to another level of awareness, another different sight, a different heart feeling, a different depth of rootedness into what is available to us. And we're looking for freedom, 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 as Saint Germain would say to you. So know that you are surrounded and greatly loved. And there will be angels there to support you and guardians to take your hand. There is nothing to fear. You just moved in dimension. But you will be missed here upon the earth. No doubt. And may we pray that whatever the message is to the outer world, that it is received. How it would affect and touch each individual soul, who are we to know? But we want that life to have purpose, to have value. So we want to be able to understand the courage and the power and strength they held, as on some inner level they were prepared. You know, they always say to me, many blessings and amen for that prayer, but the enlightened soul gets to the point when they'll tell you they've always known who they were and what it's like and where they're going. And I have met those souls, and within myself had that day, wow, I get it. I always did know it. I remember looking at the stars when I was very young and knowing I was a part of those stars. What was I doing here? So we've all lived other places. We're not just earthlings. We've lived on many different planets and had many ways of living. Most of us are here to learn about money and the value and worth of ourselves. For this is one of the only planets that requires money to have a gauge on things. I don't know what you might call it. But it is in learning the surrender and the letting go of that which money perceives its need for. The needs will be met. It's all very fascinating when you become quiet and look simply at things. For God is simple. We tend to, as we grow, think that there's a greater difficulty and a bigger solution and patterning to have to look at. And as I myself sit now and move through Mother's eyes, I see the simplicity, but yet the greatest depth and release from just simple words versus all the tweening and twining and whatever you want to call it. And then to have the voice be in its simplest form and make dramatic change is an amazing sight to see from the inside out. I believe the time will come when healing will be done through sound. The simplicity of it, the depth of it. And I hope I am there for it. For I used to be one of those beginners with just a tone. Ooh. And then as it developed, my higher self was Joshua himself. And it wasn't until I was prepared he taught me about sound and how he had tumbled the town and at times brought forth sound to bring great possibilities. And I would say the teachers of my sound are now, they don't want me to say their name, but you know, the Hathors. They're very shy. For the way they do it is in a harmony. No play on the words about harmony. So, because there's 14 of them, and yet you probably would never know. They each hold a different note, which we aren't aware of it in that way. We all see one individual singing many notes, and the gift the Hathors bring is they are perfectly personified in a note, and the depth of how it itself can deepen and widen and heal. So, I am aware I'm going off on a tangent. I'm so sorry. I do tend to do it. But I hope it is interesting to you. Chase, you have become my right-hand person that you fill in the words when I'm not doing that. So today, perhaps it is appropriate to let yourself really allow joy. It isn't about being sad. It is moving to a place to find a deeper understanding within yourself. But what all of them would want is for us to have a joy in the moment that we have. And we're breathing and we're alive and we're moving and we're touching other people and we're discovering a deep love. A love that's deeper than even yet. For me, it keeps growing and it gets deeper. And I know that's happening for you. And I know you can feel it happening in me. And it's a wondrous journey to not only be on it alone, but to be on it together. And to have the light grow and find its and illuminate little corners that perhaps we haven't visited in a while. And then to take a breath and the next day it all is new. And all that could have been a difficulty yesterday, today has all found its answers. That is the most rewarding of all of it. It is worth it to have to feel uncomfortable for a moment if it opens a greater moment to a greater love of the light and mother and father. Because there's not words that can share the experience. And so you must continue on the journey till you are there. And where is there? I don't know. I'm just continuing to walk and to continue to allow it to come and to touch me and to allow me to be expanded in different ways every day. So, there we are for today. Harmonics, yes. Well, there's many people who are now going into sound. It's an interesting thing. It's another whole conversation. But those who are attracted to it will find their way of where they need to go to be to have it. So, I'm going to end up today, since I'm on my winding thing here. And I'll see you tomorrow. And many blessings to you. Remember, today have joy.